It's the sound that makes fugitives all over Northeast Ohio just a little bit nervous. Are they next up to be featured on Cuyahoga's Most Wanted? Every week we feature individuals that are fugitives from the law. They have warrants out for their arrest. They are innocent until proven guilty, but they're facing serious charges. They don't need to be on our street. They need to be in front of a judge. We're going to welcome in, as we do every week, Detective Red Dyer with the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department. Detective, how are you?
Excellent, Dan. How about yourself?
Great to have you back. We never seem to have a shortage of fugitives. I always think maybe one of these weeks you're going to email me and say, Dan, no segment this week because there's just no more people left to catch. And somehow that's never the case. Detective, why do we do this partnership? We've done it for a number of years, every week almost. What is this partnership about between Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County and Channel 19?
Well, Dan, as we discuss every week, we at Crime Stoppers, we recognize the value in the eyes and ears of our community. This program gives the community a chance to clean up their neighborhoods, and I think it's really important to note it gets justice for these victims. We don't think that it's fair that these individuals get to be out on the street sleeping comfortably in their beds while the victims have to sleep with one eye open.
It's a very, very good point. It's one of the main reasons we do it. We're going to talk a little bit later about reward money that is up for grabs every single week. But let's get to our first case. Without further ado, what do we know about Dominic Smith?
Well, what we know, Dan, about Dominic Smith is that in May of this year, officers were dispatched to a residence for a dispute. Upon arrival, the pregnant victim advised that during an argument, Dominic spit food at them, punched them several times, and smashed their phone. He actually left the residence prior to police arrival. The victim was conveyed to the hospital via ambulance for their injuries. Dominic actually has a criminal history with the sheriff's department dating back to 2020. He's approximately 5'7" and 140 pounds and was last known to be staying in the 8100 block of Dorver Avenue in the city of Cleveland.
And as we know, in the state of Ohio, penalties for attacking a woman who is pregnant can be increased, especially when it comes time for sentencing. So think about that woman who had to be taken to the hospital. Obviously, there was a concern for the unborn child there. And she deserves justice, as Red was indicating. Red, let's get to our next case. Cameron Atkins, what do we know?
Well, Dan, what we know is that according to reports in October of this year, Mr. Atkins is alleged to have discharged a firearm over the roadway, discharged a firearm over the road at a vehicle that had two occupants. Following the incident, police located the firearm hidden in a closet with the serial number destroyed. He failed to appear for court and a warrant was issued for his arrest. He's approximately 5'8" and 135 pounds and was last known to be staying in the 4100 block of Gifford Ave in the city of Cleveland.
And as Red indicated, one of the charges is discharging of a firearm on or near a prohibited premises. That's a very complicated title for shooting a gun across the road. They understand that that is increasing in danger when you are firing weapons across the roadway. It could go into a house, another car. So again, the penalties are increased. That's why that charge is put that way. We're going to take a quick break before we get to our third and final subject. This is somebody we have had on Cuyahoga's Most Wanted before. We need to feature him again because he's facing up to 17 charges and he continues to be on the run. We will be right back. It's not often we have somebody that we have to re-feature because we know this program works. About a 75% capture rate, whether directly or indirectly, from being featured here. Sometimes people just grow a conscience. They see themselves featured on Channel 19 and turn themselves in. Most of the times, though, it comes from a tip or the incredible work of the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department. Let's get to our third and final case, a refeature. What do we know about Jason Bond Jr.?
Well, Dan, what we know is that he actually has two warrants with the sheriff's department. In one case, it's alleged that in May of 24, Jason fled from the police during a traffic stop. And as we've often said, traffic stops are very dangerous for police officers because they're often unpredictable. He actually crashed into another vehicle, grabbed a handgun that had been converted to fully automatic, and ran from officers on foot. According to reports, he hid in a heavily wooded area and refused to surrender. He actually had to be physically forced out of his hiding spot and handcuffed. In his second case, it's alleged that in July of 24, Jason had a stolen license plate on his vehicle. Upon inventory of that vehicle, Cleveland police recovered a loaded firearm and suspected narcotics prepped for sale. And as we always say, where you find drugs, you will find guns. Dealing drugs is dangerous. He actually cut off his GPS monitor for these cases and fled, so warrants were issued for his arrest. He's approximately 5 foot and 200 pounds, was last known to be staying in the 17,000 block of Independence Road in the city of Brook Park.
Yeah, and that's an individual that has proved slippery to catch, and we'd like to see him off our street. Detective, people get nervous, and I understand this. It's easier to mind your own business than it is to clean up your own street. It's much easier to just turn a blind eye to this, but that's not going to solve anything. So, the reason this program works, Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County, is because people get to remain anonymous. Walk us through what happens when someone calls the Crime Stoppers tip line.
Well, Dan, as we discuss every week, when you call us, we don't take down your name, we don't take down your number, or any other personal identifying information. We also do not record the phone calls. All contact you have through us is referenced through an anonymous tip number, so your information is never exchanged.
Yeah, and I always say that reference number is sort of like a tracking number on a package. We all get packages these days, and that's what you use. You call back in 45 days, give them your tracking number, your reference number, and see if your tip led to the arrest of one of the fugitives. Detective, there's a very important point here. People are helping to clean up their community, but at the same time, they're eligible for up to a $5,000 reward. And what do you like to remind people?
That crime doesn't pay, but Crime Stoppers does.
Crime Stoppers does pay, pays out all the time for the tips that come in. Let's show you that tip number one more time. 216-252-7463. It is a very simple number to remember. 216-25-CRIME is what it spells. Detective, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Another 3 fugitives on the run. Let's go out and get them.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, take care, Red.